Now at 5, we check out the impact of a Joplin police program pairing mental health professionals with community members in crisis. Plus, the challenge for area students facing loan repayment. And
President Trump is confident he could broker a trade deal with China. I'm Torian Small at the White House with the latest on negotiations after both sides agreed to temporarily slash tariffs.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
the Joplin Police Department says they're already seeing a positive impact just 6 months after establishing their co-responder unit, which helps pair mental health professionals with community members in crisis. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM Samantha Walker is live from outside the police department with details.
Dow, the co-responder unit is a partnership between JPD and the Ozark Center, helping to put mental health professionals into the field. Now, co-responders respond to situations where a crime hasn't necessarily been committed, but someone's in crisis. The program's been going on for about 6 months, and JPD says it already sees the impact. Co-responders aren't officers, and they focus on de-escalation techniques, helping those in crisis find the resources they need, from shelter to medical care.
Let's do whatever the situation dictates so that arrest isn't necessary. We've seen our arrests of the homeless population go down. We've seen use of forces go down. We've actually been able to help a lot of people who need help as opposed to just putting them in jail.
Now, Dow, right now there are 3 full-time co-responders working with the department. They say they hope to expand the program and its hours of operation as more people become aware of it. Reporting live in Joplin, I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
And I know you can have more for us about how this program has helped to reduce the use of force tonight at 6. Samantha Walker, we'll see you then. Thanks. While some graduation caps have already been tossed, ceremonies wrapped up for high school and college seniors, a new challenge is just beginning for many. According to Arvest Bank, a staggering 97% of 2024 college graduates say they feel unprepared to budget and manage their student loan repayments. With that in mind, we stopped by Arvest Bank in Joplin to get expert advice on navigating the world of college financing.
I think one of the most important things is to start a budget, establish a budget, stick to your budget. That's the not fun part. Make sure you understand the difference between your wants and your needs. Obviously, paying off your student loans is going to be a need. So make sure that you put that in your budget plan.
Arvest Bank says 60% of high school juniors and seniors surveyed say they don't feel capable of managing their credit. Freeman Health System kicked off National Hospital Week with an all-employee cookout today. The event, held under the ambulance bay, marked the start of a week-long celebration across all campuses. National Hospital Week honors healthcare workers and hospital systems nationwide.
We have over 4,500 employees. We will come back in the evening and do it for the overnight shifters. We just like to celebrate and let them know that they are appreciated.
Freeman officials say the events are a small way to recognize staff who work to save lives every day. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for a first look at the weather.
Well, temperatures got up to about 79 degrees today, and we did have some mostly sunny skies, upper level clouds, low level clouds, and then out in the far southeast, a couple of those isolated showers. We've been expecting those, but not a big threat for the rest of us. Outside of that, it was a beautiful day. Now all those clouds are going to continue to clear out here overnight. Temperatures will start to drop down through the 60s and into the upper 50s for our overnight low to start off Tuesday morning. And then we've got sunny skies and temperatures reaching the 80s tomorrow. It's going to be in the lower 80s once we get into the middle of the work week. Plus warmer temperatures after that. We're going to be in the upper 80s by Wednesday. I'm going to have a foliage forecast coming up.
See you soon. President Trump said he might speak with China's president at the end of the week after the two sides announced they've agreed to temporarily lower the tariffs they've imposed on each other. The breakthrough in the trade talks comes as President Trump turns his attention to the Middle East. Torian Small reports from the White House.
President Trump left the White House for a trip to the Middle East hours after his administration jointly announced with China a temporary de-escalation of the trade war between the two countries.
They were very happy to be able to do something with us.
The agreement calls for the U.S. to lower its 145% tariff on Chinese goods to 30%, while the retaliatory tariff China imposed on the U.S. drops to 10%.
They've agreed to open China, fully open China. And I think it's going to be fantastic for China. I think it's going to be fantastic for us.
The agreement is only for 90 days while negotiations continue. Now the president is turning his attention to the Middle East with a 4-day trip to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. The focus of this trip is business talks, but looming over this visit are the biggest issues in the region, including the war in Gaza and talks with Iran about its nuclear weapons program. Before he left, the president weighed in on reports that Qatar is planning to give the U.S. a luxury jet that he could use as Air Force One.
I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person, say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane. But I thought it was a great gesture.
The potential gift has sparked criticism from Democrats and others who say it's unethical, if not illegal. In a statement, an official from Qatar said the matter is under review and no decision has been made yet. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
The president floated the idea of taking a detour to Turkey while he's overseas. That's where ceasefire talks between Russia and Ukraine are scheduled to take place later in the week. An Israeli-American soldier held hostage for more than 19 months in the Gaza Strip was released today by Hamas in a goodwill gesture toward the Trump administration that could lay the groundwork for a new ceasefire with Israel. The Israeli military confirmed that Eden Alexander was turned over to the Red Cross and then to Israeli forces. Alexander was 19 when he was taken from his military base in southern Israel during Hamas's cross-border attack on October 7, 2023, which set off the war in Gaza. Still ahead, what you should know about drugs intended to help take off the pounds.
A new study shows which weight loss drugs may be more effective. I'm Cristian Benavides with the results.
Plus, a new donor center opens in Joplin as CBCO celebrates 3 decades of service and gives back to the community all week long. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, Community Blood Center of the Ozarks marked the grand opening of its new Joplin Donor Center with this ribbon-cutting ceremony. Mayor Keenan Cortez presented a proclamation recognizing CBCO's 30 years of service to the community. The new location on East 32nd Street replaces the former site inside North Park Mall and offers a larger, more accessible space for donors. To celebrate, CBCO is hosting a week of daily giveaways to thank donors for their continued support. The FDA just approved a new tool in the fight against cervical cancer. It's the first ever cervical cancer test that can be done at home. Cervical cancer kills more than 4,300 women in the U.S. annually. That's according to American Cancer Society estimates. Women are supposed to get a pap smear every 2 to 3 years, starting at age 25, to screen for things like cervical cancer. But about 1 out of every 4 women in the U.S. are not up to date on those screenings, in some cases because of the hesitation about that invasive process. That's about 21 million eligible women. Now, several healthcare companies, including one called Teal Health, are trying to make the screening less daunting by letting women gather their own samples.
It looks very similar to a tampon. You insert it as far as makes sense for your body. It's designed for all women. And then you collect with this soft sponge, and then you ship it to the lab.
This is a preventable form of cancer. This is something we can prevent both with vaccination and then later also with screening.
That less than 60% of women ages 19 to 26 have received at least 1 dose of the HPV vaccine. New research comparing 2 popular medications used for weight loss shows people lost more weight on Zepbound than on Wegovy. It's the first head-to-head trial of the drugs. Cristian Benavides has more.
The use of injectable weight loss drugs has skyrocketed, with at least 1 in 8 U.S. adults reporting use, according to a 2024 KFF survey. Now new research shows tirzepatide, or Zepbound, showed superior weight loss over semaglutide, or Wegovy. After 72 weeks, patients on tirzepatide lost about 20% of their body weight. Patients on semaglutide lost about 14%.
And that translates to about a difference of 8 pounds on average between the two drugs. Now, it is important to note that this study was funded by Lilly, which makes tirzepatide. So you always need to take that with a grain of salt.
About 40% of adults are obese, according to the CDC. That means more than 100 million adults with obesity in the U.S. The study published in the New England Journal of Medicine also finds as people in both groups lost more weight, they saw additional health benefits. Dr. Celine Gounder is a CBS News medical contributor and editor-at-large for public health at KFF.
We're seeing people's blood pressure come down, their diabetes numbers, their blood sugars improve, their cholesterol numbers improve. So this is not just the weight loss, it's also health indicators.
The study also shows men taking these drugs lost less weight than women. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
More than 3/4 of patients in both groups reported at least one side effect, mostly mild to moderate GI issues. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, students serve up sweet innovation at the Carthage Tech Center.
And we have a warm up in the forecast. I'm going to have those details coming up.
Save big only at Ashley.
Well, we've had pretty warm weather the last couple of days. Yesterday we got up to 80 degrees. Today you can see we got up to 79, so just shy of 80, but we're pretty close to average. However, that's going to change over the next couple of days because we're going into a warm up. Now taking a look outside downtown Joplin, Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. It looks really great out there. We do have a few clouds still sticking around due to the low pressure system that's been shoved off to the southeast for the last several days. We got few of those isolated showers as well, though not much else going on tonight. All that's going to clear out of here. Temperatures dropping down through the 70s and into the 60s with our overnight low dropping down to about 59 degrees. So overall, pretty mild night. Now, as we head into Tuesday, those temperatures are getting up to the low 80s. By Wednesday morning, we're already going to be in the mid 60s. So nearly 5 to 10 degrees warmer than we will be tonight. And then by Wednesday afternoon, our high for the day, 87 degrees. And you can see surrounding cities, 92 in Kansas City, 94 in Wichita, 96 in Oklahoma City. So we're getting warmer, and Wednesday will be the warmest day in the Midwest. Now, as we get through Thursday, you can see we've got that wind shift line. It is a dry line pushing in. Not expecting any rain chances along that boundary, but it will drop our temperatures as those winds shift out of the west-northwest. Temperatures are only going to reach low 80s on Thursday. But like I said, we are still seeing more thunderstorm chances as well later into the week. That starts on Friday. So we've got this low pressure system making its way across the northern states. You can see by 7:30 in the morning, getting closer to our area on Thursday. Few clouds start to push in, but rain holds off until Friday. So you can see a few isolated showers, thunderstorms pushing in by midday on Friday, but thunderstorm chances move in later in the evening. Now we've got that cold front draped across. You can see Arkansas, Tennessee up to Kentucky. That's where the main severe threat is going to be. However, we've got a lot of energy buildup in the atmosphere over our area, so we could still see a couple of those storms firing off in our area. Now, rain doesn't stop there. By Saturday, we've got more showers, thunderstorms, and another severe threat coming in Saturday night, and then again, another severe threat coming in on Sunday night. So this is now 10 p.m. Sunday. You can see where that line of storms lines up right ahead of our area. So we're going to keep an eye on this. We've got the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms to continue starting Friday night all the way through Tuesday. Now, the severe threat for Friday mostly staying south of I-44, though a lot could change with that. And then on Saturday, could expect some storms mostly up in Kansas City, but again, just hitting some of our northern cities. And then by Sunday, we saw that line developing out near Oklahoma City, and then it starts to push in towards the west, or excuse me, the east, northeast, bringing a severe threat towards our area. So we've got a lot to pay attention to over the next several days. Those warm temperatures Tuesday through Thursday, and then those thunderstorm chances through the weekend and into early next week. And then temperatures finally return back to average, mid-70s, with Nice skies after all of the rain clears out this weekend.
Something for everybody in that forecast,
Yeah, it is.
seems. Thanks, Lindsay. Coming up, see how one entrepreneur is making the most of used cooking oil.
From your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Topping today's Consumer Watch, the FDA and CDC say they're investigating whether dozens of recalled fresh and ready food items are linked to a listeria outbreak in California and the state of Nevada. At least 10 people have been hospitalized. The packaged meals were sold under the brand names Fresh and Ready City Point Market, Fresh Food to Go, and Fresh Food Crave Away in vending machines and break room areas across a number of states: Arizona, California, Nevada, and Washington. Consumers are urged to throw away recalled products and contact the company for a full refund. A full list of the recalled items can be found on the FDA's website. When you dig into that fried stadium snack, you're probably not thinking about how it's made. Reporter Luzdelia Caballero shows us a cooking oil recycling company making an impact at some of the biggest sports venues in Los Angeles.
At the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, there's an innovative way to handle cooking oil waste.
It's like dialysis. It's literally moving through these filters and just pulling out all the impurities.
Kathy Turner, a local entrepreneur, is the owner of Filta Environmental Kitchen Solutions and says this process has been instrumental in not only extending its lifespan, but also in improving food quality while reducing waste and costs.
A lot of people just discard the oil in a bin at the back of their restaurant. By filtering the oil, the restaurant owner or the stadium can get multiple uses of that oil, and we can come back and filter sometimes 2, 3, even 4 times.
And when the oil can no longer be filtered,
at that point we would take the oil and then we sell that for biodiesel. So it's extremely environmentally friendly because you're actually purchasing less oil.
But the Coliseum isn't the only venue Turner has been servicing. Others include the Forum, Dodger Stadium, and dozens of local restaurants.
We took it from a Merlot colored and now it's a light golden.
In 2024 alone, Turner helped save nearly 264,000 pounds of oil from Dodger Stadium and
at Intuit Dome, which opened in July of last year, we've saved nearly 60,000 pounds of oil for them through the end of last year.
Turner says she saved more than 1 million pounds of cooking oil from landfills and waterways since her company took off.
I'm concerned about the way we're leaving the world, and this is just a small part of doing what I think is the right thing.
Turner's hope is that Filta's creative microfiltration approach will lead to a more sustainable future. Luzdelia Caballero, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The EPA estimates U.S. restaurants and hotels churn out 3 billion gallons of waste cooking oil every year. A final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, big changes could be on the way for Medicaid. What could they mean for health care costs and access to doctors? Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the JPD's co-responder program. We're going to hear how the department says it's cut down on use of force calls. And Fairland slow pitch softball competes at the state tournament. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Hey, look at this. Yum yum. Students at the Carthage Tech Center wrapped up a 3-week project by presenting their own custom chocolate bar creations. Yeah, the final assignment of the year tasks students with developing a chocolate recipe, designing packaging, and creating a marketing strategy.
One of our main struggles was finding a unique product because we didn't want to be generic. There are a lot of candy sprinkle products. We wanted to go for a more mature but still fun taste.
The project is part of a unit on the history of chocolate and specialty desserts. Participants also provided samples of their bars as part of the final presentation. Wow, that beats term paper or studying for a final exam, if you ask me. I know it would be challenging, but kind of fun too.
Yeah, oh yeah, sounds good.
The weather.
Looking good too. We've got temperatures in the 80s for the rest of the week and even into the weekend. Our warmest temperature is going to be on Wednesday, 87 degrees, and then we're going to have thunderstorm chances, potentially severe threat, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Wow, I know you and the rest of the weather team will keep us posted as
Yes,
necessary. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.